It's Bible Club, it's Bible Club, it's Bible Club in our town. There's singing, there's laughing, let's get the word around. Folks are all excited, we are all delighted. It's Bible Club, Bible Club, Bible Club, Bible Club, Bible Club in our town. It's Bible Club, it's Bible Club, it's Bible Club in our town. There's singing, there's laughing, let's get the word around. We're all excited, and we are all delighted. It's Bible Club, Bible Club, Bible Club, Bible Club, Bible Club in our town. Okay, who can tell me what were we talking about in the lesson last week?
We might need to remind them not to.
Oh, don't play with your little number, the secret seat number. Don't play with that. Just pay attention and listen to me. Okay, we got lots of people no, you can say. Everybody's going to get to say what we were talking about last week. And if somebody else says what you were going to say, you can just say it again. Okay? So what were we talking about in the story last week? Somebody was what? He? Okay, yes. So who was going to give to the person that was going to betray? Who was going to get betrayed? Not who was going to do the betraying. Not who was the traitor. Who was the one that was getting betrayed? It's okay. Other people can help with that one. Somebody want to help with that? Let's have you help with that. Who was getting betrayed? Judas. Was going to betray Jesus. Alright, so somebody tell me something else from last week's story. Something else from last week's story. That's right. He was a thief, wasn't he? He was a stealer. And even though he was a thief, all the people around him, they thought he was a pretty good guy, right? They even let him keep all their money for him. He held the bag. See, he has the bag there for the whole group. Yep. He was with them for a while, but then he stayed with them, even though he decided he was going to be a traitor. Maria, what do you remember from last week? Jesus' feet was dirty? I don't remember talking about that. It's funny. I don't. Well, you know what she is talking about? Oh, that's right. You're right. The lady, she anointed him. That was. Where is that? Oh, right here. Yes. Yes. She made a really pretty smelling ointment on his feet and wiped it off with his hair. And then everybody thought that was a waste of money, right? Yeah. Very good. You remember that, and I didn't even remember that. Okay, and you already got to say something. Maddie.
I remember how one of Jesus' disciples, he went to Jesus' haters that was trying to
His enemies?
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, well, before what were you going to say?
When they had that festival thing, Jesus knew about him trading.
He knew about the traitor even though he was trying to sneak behind. So his enemies, Judas went to his enemies to betray him, and they gave Judas some money, right? So that he would betray him. Wow. I guess. And they had the festival with the special meal, right? And they're at the special meal, and Jesus gave Judas the piece of bread. One last one. I'm going to have to listen close to the fans now. Judas? That's right. He didn't tell all of them. So the two that were supposed to get the meal ready go into the city, and when you see a man with a bucket follow him to the house, and that's where you're going to get ready. Very good. Lots of people remember lots of our lesson last week. So, last week, we finished. They were eating their meal, right? They're eating the meal, and Jesus gave that special piece of bread to Judas, right? The one that was going to betray him. And then he told Judas, he said, what you're going to do, go and do it quickly. And Judas went out. He left them. And where do you think Judas is going? Jesus said, go do it quickly. Where's Judas going? Lucas, where do you think he's going? Yeah, he's going to Jesus' enemies, isn't he? So Judas is going to do his thing with the enemies of Jesus. And what's everybody else doing? Where's everybody else? Judas left. Where's everybody else? Sorry? Yeah, they're still at the house eating the meal. Very good. So we're still eating the meal, and Jesus begins. Jesus knows what's going to happen. Why does Jesus know what's going to happen? Why does Jesus know what's going to happen? Because he is God. Jesus is God. He knows what's going to happen. And he begins to talk to his disciples in a very special way. He starts telling them many things. In fact, the Gospel of John has several chapters that Jesus told the disciples on this very night when all of this happened. And he was talking to them and saying, very soon, God the Father will be glorified by everything that is happening. And then he said, pretty soon, I'm going to go away and you will not be able to follow me. You will not be able to go where I'm going. And then he said, because of that, I'm going to give you a new rule. He called it a commandment. I'm going to give you a new commandment. And he said, and this is what the rule is. All of you must love one another. If you are my disciple, you must love one another. Now that is pretty important. Jesus has given them a new rule. Something that, and if it's a rule that Jesus gives you, who should do the rules that Jesus gives out? Everybody, right? Even us. If we say, I follow Jesus, we should be obeying Jesus' rules, right? And he said, this new rule I'm giving you is that all of you should love one another. And in fact, it should be clear that you follow me because you love other people that follow me. Now, loving other people means that we care about them. If they need help, we're going to help them. We're kind to them, right? So if you are here and you say, I love Jesus and I follow Jesus, you need to care about other people, right? And you need to be kind to other people. You should be one that loves other people, because Jesus said, that's how people are going to know that you follow me, if you love one another. Well, Peter was sitting there. Listen up now. Peter was sitting there, and you think he was thinking about that new rule that Jesus said? You know what? He wasn't. He said, he heard something else. He said, Jesus, you're leaving and we won't be able to go with you? Where are you going? That's what he was thinking about. I was thinking, where are you going, Jesus? And Jesus said, well, where I'm going, you can't come. Later on, you will be able to follow me there, but you won't be able to come now. And Peter was all full of thinking, where was Jesus going to go that we can't go with him? Now, we know, don't we? But he wasn't thinking about that. He wasn't thinking that Jesus would die and leave this world. He was thinking that Jesus was talking about another city or another town. And so he was thinking, where would Jesus go that we can't follow him? And then Jesus said something else. He said, you know what? All of you are going to deny me and leave me by myself. Now, there's a difference between denying somebody and betraying somebody. There's a difference. Judas betrayed Jesus. But Jesus said all the rest of them, they would deny him. And that would be like, no, I don't know him. Can you believe that all those men that had been with him for 3 years would say, no, I don't know him? Have you ever done that? You've been with somebody and they start to get in trouble and you act like you don't know who they are? Right? I don't know that guy. You know, you're walking down the street and some person, maybe they're just a crazy person, they yell off their porch at your friend, and you start acting like, well, I don't know him, you're by yourself there, buddy, I'm not sticking around, right? That's what denying somebody would mean. Peter said, Jesus, I would never deny you. I wouldn't deny you. And Jesus told Peter something. He said, Peter, you know what? Before the rooster crows in the morning, twice. How many have ever heard a rooster crow in the morning? There's roosters around Black Oak. We hear the rooster. He said, before the rooster crows the second time in the morning, you will have denied me 3 times. So Peter doesn't know what's going on, but what's Jesus saying? Jesus is saying that Peter's going to have an opportunity to say that he does know who Jesus is, and he's going to say, no, I don't know who Jesus is. Not once, not twice, but he's going to do that 3 times before the rooster crows the second time in the morning. And Peter said, no way, Jesus. I would never do that. In fact, if I had to die just to be with you, I would give up my life to be with you, to stick with you. I would never deny you. And in fact, all the other disciples, so Judas was gone, right? He's the traitor. Peter says, I would do that. All the other 10 said, no, none of us, we're sticking with you, Jesus. We're not gonna leave you by yourself or anything like that. Well, they had finished. Jesus said some other things, and they got up and they began to leave the house where they were, and they left the city of Jerusalem. And when you leave the city of Jerusalem, you go down the hill, and then you cross a creek that's at the bottom of the hill. And you cross the creek. When you get across the creek that's at the bottom of the hill, there's a garden there with these olive trees in it. And it's called the Garden of Gethsemane. And Jesus liked that garden. It was peaceful there. He liked to go to that garden. And guess who knew that Jesus liked to go to that garden? Who do you think knew that Jesus liked to go to that garden? Who do you think? The traitor, right? What was the traitor's name? Judas. Judas knew that Jesus liked to go to that garden. Well, Jesus went to the garden, and he got there, and as he got closer and closer to the garden, he got sadder and sadder and sadder. How many of you have ever been very, very sad? Can other people tell when you're very, very sad? They can. It's like you don't feel like talking, or maybe you do feel like talking, but when you talk, it sounds very sad. And Jesus got sadder and sadder, and he said, okay, 8 of you guys, I want you to stay right here while I go in further into this garden and pray. The garden was more like a park. Okay, in our minds, it was more like a park. It wasn't a vegetable garden. It had nice trees there and all that. And he says, I'm going to go in here further and pray. And he took with him Peter, James, and John. Those 3, he came with him further. And as he got in, he said, my heart is very, very sorrowful. And it's very heavy. And he said, you 3 watch here with me, and I'm going to go a little bit further and pray by myself. The Bible says he went about as far as you could throw a stone. How many of you have ever thrown a stone? So the Bible says he went about as far as you could throw a stone, and he fell down on the ground, and he began to pray. And when he's praying, what was Jesus doing when he was praying? Who was he talking to? God, right? His Father. He's God, but he's here on earth, and he's talking to his Father in heaven. Just like we talk to God when we pray. He was praying, and he said, Father, if this doesn't have to be your will, I don't want to go through this, but I want to do what you want. Your will be done. You know what Jesus didn't want to do? What his body, what he was just kind of like, I don't want to do that. Pretty soon he knew he was going to die on the cross. And when Jesus died on the cross, he took the punishment of all of us. Now I want you to imagine something. Let's say you're in your classroom. You're in your classroom and you're sitting there at the desk being the perfect student. Just imagine that you're being the perfect student. Just imagine. Nobody's the perfect student, but you are today. You're the perfect student. You're sitting at your desk. You're doing everything that the teacher always wants you to do. And the teacher goes down to the principal's office, and when she leaves, everybody in the classroom, except for you, starts being bad. They're up, they're running around, they're shooting rubber bands, they're just being bad. They're doing things that they know they should not do. And the teacher comes back from the principal's office, and she finds out that everybody in the room was bad. And she says, okay, there needs to be punishment given out. You guys can't just act like that without getting in trouble. And so she says, you're going to get in trouble, and this is what I'm going to do. And she looks at you and says, you are in trouble. Well, you didn't do anything wrong, did you? But she says, you are getting punished because everybody was bad. That doesn't seem fair, does it? You didn't do anything bad. Everybody else did so bad, but you're the only one that gets all the punishment for the whole class. That's not right, is it? That's not fair, is it? That's what happened to Jesus. Did Jesus ever do anything wrong? No. But he knew. He knew that he was going to have, the next day, he was going to get on the cross and he was going to take the punishment. The punishment that I deserve for the bad things I've done, he took it. And your punishment for the bad things you've done, and everybody in the whole world has done things bad, and they ought to be punished. But who was punished because everybody did wrong? Jesus was. And he knew that was coming, and he didn't want to go through that. But he also knew that that was the plan, that they had decided was the only way that all of people could be saved, and he was willing. And he decided, I will do this so that other people can come to heaven. Well, he was praying like that, and after a while, he came back to Peter, James, and John. Where was Peter, James, and John? They were about as far as you could throw a stone away, right? And he came back to them. They were supposed to be watching with Jesus. And what do you think they were doing when Jesus came back? It was at night. They had just eaten. What do you think they were doing? Yeah, they were sleeping. Here Jesus was praying. He had all this pressure, and he knew so much was going to happen. And Peter, James, and John, and even the rest further back, they were all sleeping. And Jesus said, couldn't you have watched with me just for 1 hour? You need to watch, and you need to pray, because temptation could be coming. And he went back, and he began to pray again in the same way. And what do you think Peter, James, and John ended up doing? They fell asleep again. Maybe they started praying. And most of the time when we pray, what do? We close our eyes. And I'll bet they closed their eyes and started praying, and then pretty soon they were not praying. They were maybe snoring or something like that. But Jesus was praying. They were not praying. They were just sleeping there. And then Jesus came back and he saw them. And this time he didn't even wake them up. He said, just go ahead and sleep. He knew that pretty soon he was going to actually be captured by his enemies. In fact, just a couple minutes later, he said, all right, guys, it's time to get up. It's time for evil to have its way. And as they woke up, they could see, remember, when they left, they'd gone down the hill outside the city, across the river, and over into the garden. And they were in the garden. They could see coming down the hill, torches in the air, lanterns. A big group of people were coming. Who do you think was those people coming? Jesus' enemies. That's right. Jesus' enemies were coming after him. Who do you think was out in front, leading them? Who was out in front leading Jesus' enemies?
Judas.
It was Judas, wasn't it? Judas was out in front of them. He was leading all of Jesus' enemies to him. It's like, guys, I know where he is. And what was Judas thinking about? What do you think? He wanted his money, didn't he? Yeah. And so he's like, I'm going to bring you to Jesus. And he got there, and Jesus was out in front of all of his disciples. And he said, who are you all looking for? And what do you think they said? We're looking for Jesus of Nazareth. And Jesus said, that I am he. The Bible says, when he said that, they all fell over on the ground. They might have been thinking, wow, why would he just say, I am the one you're looking for? But he said, I am he. And we understand, you might understand this, that when he said that, he used a very powerful name of God. And they fell down on the ground because of the power of God that was there. Because Jesus is God. Well, they got back up, and they said, and Jesus said to them, who did you say you're looking for? And they said, Jesus of Nazareth. And they said, that's me. And since you're looking for me, let all these others go. didn't want the disciples to have to be captured. He just wanted them to be, they didn't need to be captured. And Peter, remember what Peter said? I will never deny you. Peter all of a sudden said, this doesn't look good. So he had a sword with him. He pulled a sword out and he swung it at somebody and he nicked their ear. The Bible says he cut his ear off. I don't know if it came all the way off or just came part way down. And Jesus looked at Peter and said, Peter, don't do that. He said, put your sword away. This is not the time. He says, don't you know that I could call angels out of heaven to protect me if I needed protection? And Jesus took his hand and he took that man's ear and he put it back on his head. And it went right back as if nothing had ever happened. How can Jesus do that? He's God, isn't he? Jesus created everything. He created us. We were born, but he created mankind. He created all of us. If he created us, he could easily take an ear and put it back on our head, couldn't he? He could do all that. And so Jesus went with those soldiers, those enemies. And what do you think all of Jesus' disciples did? They did not. They did not go with him. They ran. And they hid. They didn't go with him. So Jesus going with all of those enemies of his. And who's with Jesus?
Judas.
Judas is there, but Judas is not his friend anymore, is he? Judas is a traitor. So Jesus is there all by himself. What Jesus is going to do, he's going to do all by himself. So as we think about this lesson, we need to think about a couple things. Everybody could deny Jesus. All of us probably have sometimes. There's times when we should stand up and say, yes, I'm a Christian, or we should tell somebody, you know, Jesus loves you, and we're like, I don't think I'm going to tell them about Jesus. What is that? That's like the disciples. They're like, oh, I don't know him, right? They run and hide. And another thing we can remember is how we ought to treat one another. What did Jesus tell them? Jesus said, this is how you'll know that you're my disciple. How do disciples treat one another? They love one another. So, you know, if you're Jesus' disciple, and we're just going to kind of act like everybody here is Jesus' disciple, maybe you're not. But if you're you're here, and we think you're Jesus' disciple, what do you think we expect you to do? Love one another. Right? You're not going to say mean things about one another, either in front of them or behind their back. You're not going to think about other people that come to Bible club and say, well, I hope they don't come. That's not very loving, is it? It's not. And if we're Jesus' disciples, we will love one another. And Jesus' disciples should not be denying Jesus. Should not be saying, oh, I don't know him. I'm not going to act like a Christian right here because that might be embarrassing. So it does happen. Even Jesus' own disciples did that. But that's not a good thing, is it? All right, next week, well, we'll just have to find out more. Our lessons are about the crucifixion of Jesus, and we have another set. Because so many different things happen right at the time when Jesus